What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with William Randall, CEO of Arena Minerals. Nice to have you on, William. How are you doing today?
Very well, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So can you start by giving us an introduction to Arena Minerals and telling us what the company is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. So we're a lithium developer with projects in Argentina. We're partnered with two of the largest companies out there in the lithium space. We're developing our main asset. It's called the Sal de la Puna asset, which is in Pastos Grandes Basin in northern Argentina, where we have two projects that right beside us. One which recently got sold for 510 million Canadian, and the other one that's supposedly going through a sales process now. So good precedence there for value. We're a team that has done this before. We've been, combined over 30 years in the lithium space. And between myself and Eduardo Morales, our chairman, we've built two lithium brine mines over the past 20 years. So yeah, we're in the process of trying to do it again, and this time with a little bit of a different business model. Typically, lithium brine developers try to go from mining all the way to a finished chemical product, so a battery grade lithium carbonate. We're de-risking the process, less operational risk and less capital intensity, and selling what is a lithium chloride product to the battery market, which has huge benefits, financial and also ESG. It's all solar powered and no use of fresh water, and we're up in the middle of a desert in northern Argentina. So a lot going for it, and a shorter timeline to production as well.
Well, that sounds like a very unique project. So as you mentioned, Arena Minerals has operations in Argentina. Can you tell us more about, why you guys have chosen to operate there, and a little bit more about the area maybe as well?
Yeah, the area we're operating in is called the so-called Lithium Triangle. It's where most of the lithium brine assets are found. And in particular, Argentina has a more favorable political space for the development of brine assets. Chile is a little bit more complicated, and so is Bolivia. And we happen to have a very significant portion of one of the top tier brine assets, so very high grade and good production potential. There are only about a handful of these in Argentina, and we have a significant piece of one of them. And this Lithium Triangle is hosts most of the world's lithium brine reserves and resources, so it's the place to be.
Yeah, it sounds like, definitely the place to be. So Arena has attracted investments from some of the largest companies in the lithium space. Can you give us a little insight into these relationships and how they came about?
Yeah, absolutely. So our first partnership was with, and is still ongoing, with Ganfeng Lithium. They're the largest producers of lithium metal in the world, a Chinese-based company, 25 billion USD market cap right now. And they partnered with us as we started to prove out this business model, that we were able to produce this lithium chloride directly from evaporation ponds, and also own 35% of the Sal de la Puna asset in Pastos Grandes with us. And with them, what we're trying to develop is a bit of this paradigm shift in how to build out lithium brine operations. They would be a natural end user for this lithium chloride to convert into lithium carbonate or lithium metal, etc. And along the way, we also partnered up with Lithium Americas. They are a developer in Argentina and in the US. In Argentina, they're building a 40,000 ton per year facility just 100 kilometers away from us. And they own also a large chunk of the same basin that we do. So it's a natural fit, a natural partnership. Coincidentally, also Ganfeng and Lithium Americas are partnered as well on a project in Argentina. So it's a friendly group of three companies trying to do our best to develop this asset in Argentina.
Yeah, it's nice to see you guys working together. So can you give us a little update on your mining operations over the last few months?
Yeah, it's been a busy few months. So between Ganfeng and ourselves, we approved a work program that basically is focused on a number of items. The first one is increasing our resource size slightly. We want to get into the 1 million ton range. at 1 million tons, you have sufficient resources and reserves to build a significant mine that has decades worth of mine life. And so that's drill. Basically, we have 3 drills operating now on site. We just had our first drill results out a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be following that up with more drilling and production well drilling, pumping tests, etc., to get us somewhere towards the end of the North American summer, Q3, early Q4, with an updated resource and with a target in that 1 million ton range. In parallel, we also have a pilot plant operating that we built out. It's 50 plus pools, evaporating and trying to refine the process to get to this lithium chloride product, which has about 6% lithium in it. For comparison, for those guys who know the markets very well, lithium, the spodumene guys are producing an Li2O spodumene concentrate that has about half that amount of lithium. So it's a highly valuable product that can be transported anywhere in the world to existing facilities in Argentina or in China. So we have our chemical team led by Eduardo Morales, working on reaching 6% lithium and then refining the process. And at the same time, we're doing all our engineering and permitting initiatives with the idea of getting this project construction ready Q4 of this year, Q1 next year.
Wow, it's going to be a busy time for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about some results. So Arena Minerals drilled a 300-meter gravel aquifer averaging 503 milligrams per liter lithium at Sal de la Puna project, with the company mobilizing additional drill rigs. Can you tell us more about this and why it's so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So that ties into the resource development and also what the productive nature of our project's going to be. So it's not just good enough to have brine in certain rock types, in certain aquifers. They have to be good aquifers, which means that you can actually extract that brine at decent rates or good rates by pumping them out in wells, right? And that's what that gravel aquifer implies. A 300-meter gravel aquifer is massive for the basin. To the best of my knowledge, that's the biggest intercept ever drilled in Pasto Grandes by any of the companies. That's seen more than $40 million worth of investment in the basin. So that's huge, and it implies good productivity at very good grades. So above 500 milligrams per liter, you're a tier 1 asset, as I was mentioning before. And accompanied with that, we have great geochemistry, so low magnesium content and low sulfate content, which in turn favors a more simple processing. And then we added, more rigs to keep our timeline, as I was mentioning before, production wells, additional drilling, so that we can get our resource estimate out towards the end of the summer.
No, that sounds like all good news. So what are some major catalysts that investors should be looking out for as we go into 2022, the later part of the year?
Yeah, so the catalysts that we control, that are not industry related, but they're directly project related, will have additional drill results. So kind of like the one that we had, that 300-meter gravel aquifer. We'll have additional drill results on that, production well results, pumping tests, and from that, investors will be able to gather, what the productive nature of these aquifers are. And at the same time, over the next 3 to 5 months, we'll start having results out of this pilot program. So we'll start showing what we can do with the processing. First batch getting to 6% lithium, and then the subsequent batches will be improving on the yield and on the reagent use, which means less reagent use and higher yield as we go along. And all that will culminate in Q3, Q4 first with an updated resource estimate, and then with an economic analysis. We'll get all our engineering that we're doing, because we're also building a 1-hectare evaporation pond, which serves 2 purposes. One is to prove our process out at a larger scale, but it also proves that we can, in fact, build evaporation ponds on our project, and we'll use all that information and an economic analysis towards the end of the year. In parallel, again, we are initiating our permitting activities. So we should be submitting our permits also in the coming months, and we'll be working on getting those as soon as possible.
So we'll definitely have to have you back on to talk about all the exciting news to come. So, lithium has become one of the most important commodities fueling the EV market, as we know, and demand is only expected to increase. What are your thoughts on the current state of the lithium markets, and what should we expect as we move into the later part of 2022?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there is a huge gap between supply and demand that doesn't look like it's going to be bridged anytime soon. And as a result, prices have more than doubled, quadrupled in the case of spot prices. I mean, we typically in the industry, we're looking at projects that would work in $5,000 to $6,000 per ton lithium carbonate prices. We're now seeing long-term contracts over $30,000 a ton, spot prices all the way up to $80,000 a ton. So it just shows, what the demand has done to our industry. And as a result, our margins are expected to be fantastic when we do get the assets into production. And, in the rest of 2022, this is definitely not going to change. There isn't any new supply that comes on that quickly, or not meaningful anyway. And in fact, I would say that that's not going to change over the next several years. So it's going to be a great space for the next few years, and it's growing consistently. And when we started in the business, a decade ago, it was just a handful of us, and the larger companies weren't all that large. Now the likes of Rio Tinto, Cision, et cetera, buying projects in Argentina just a few kilometers away from us. And that shows what the expectation is of the overall industry and how it will grow over the next few decades.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time for you guys, so it'll be great covering it. But thanks so much for all the information, William. It was nice to have you on, and I look forward to having you back on. Best of luck with everything.
All right, thank you very much, and look forward to it.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below, along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.